So it is possible to have a plant thrive in a no drainage pot. You just have to be extremely careful. Okay. So this is like literally me plus like 3-4 other cans that I have to water my plants. You don't have to do like me, but these are what I use. So I always try my best to keep these all filled up, and I put them by my fish tank. So whenever I walk into my plant room and I see something that's dry, I can just go ahead and pick it up, because it's annoying whenever you have a water can and it's not filled and you have to water a plant, and then it's like, oh, and then you put it off, and then it's days later and the plant just gets more dry and dry. For me, whenever I first started my plant journey, it wasn't even about how much to water my plants, but it was just like how to keep it alive. But essentially, how to keep a plant alive. Water is essential to plant care. And so how do you water plants? Like, what is the right, correct, precise way to water plants? When do you water plants? Like, all of these have different variables. All of these, there is no specific certain one way. There's like a general guideline: water when dry, water when a few inches dry, whatever. I don't really follow any of those, but I'm just going to show y'all how I water and care for my plants that are thriving under my care. And you honestly just have to do what works best for your environment. Okay, for example, if you have a Hoya Sweetheart Carrii, this is actually extremely dry. You see? And especially when it's like dry and cakey, then I'm like, okay, it needs water. So I can just tell you, yeah, just go ahead and give it a little water. Or I can tell you, lift it up from the cachet pot, give it water until water drains out, and then put it back in here. However, you can do all of that, and depending on your humidity, natural humidity levels in your home, or if you have a running fan or something, all of those have factors, and you may have to water it more than once a week, or you can water it and let it dry out every 2 to 3 weeks. It all depends, but this is what I do for my babies. And since this one actually needs water, I'm going to first go over how I water my soil plants. And a side note, I bought this at Kroger same time that I got Mulligan. And this is just a Hoya Sweetheart, multiple Hoya Sweethearts. They're not supposed to like vine out or anything. Y'all see this baby? Yeah, she's gonna vine out for me. It's not gonna just be single node cuttings, which I'm very excited about. Okay, so for this, I'm going to do what I just mentioned. I am going to take it out of this cute little cachet pot that I got from Five Below, and I'm just going to run it under my sink water until water seeps through, and just do it for a little bit while. Just make sure the soil is evenly watered. And then you may have plants like this that are just in the nursery pot, and I will do the same. Or of course, you can just set it down on a saucer and water it evenly. And as you see, this is a neon pothos, and it does have yellow leaves. So this one I actually under watered. It was extremely dry. I actually just watered this, but it was extremely dry, and so she does have a few yellow leaves. And also too, if you get yellow leaves, don't freak out. It's okay. It's multiple things, but it could be under or over watering, or it could just be something as simple as the older leaves, they eventually die off. So like, if you see that, please don't freak out. It's okay. It's okay. And then up here on my plant wall, my little baby Rhaphidophora discurva definitely needs some water. Telltale sign is simply the leaves, how they're curled up. A telltale sign is simply the leaves and how they're curled up. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it a good drink of water. This is similar to my Hoya Carrii. I'm basically going to drench him because I just want to make sure the water penetrates the soil. And as long as you have drainage hole in your pot, you are not going to overwater it, because the water is just going to seep through. And I do it a little bit a lot because I just like the water to be thoroughly moist and soaked. And then I'll just set it here to dry before I put it back up. Okay, here I have my cute Shangri-La pothos, and baby girl is extremely dry. Just look, you can just even look at her. But not only that, her leaves, well, the stems are starting to go outwards. Usually they're up more, and that's how you can tell, because this one is not based off of the leaves, because the leaves are supposed to curl like that. That's the beauty of this plant. And then here is my Syngonium. Honestly, I don't know the name. I don't know if it's Berry Illusion or what. I get my Syngoniums confused, but they're both extremely dry. So I'm gonna go ahead and bottom water them. Bottom watering is literally just letting your plant sit on top of water and letting the water soak up. So I'm going to fill this saucer with some water. And I'm going to take them out of my cute little white IKEA pots. And I'm just going to literally just let it sit. And there's no specific time, but there's no specific time, but I'm going to let it sit here until it soaks up all the water it needs. And I'm actually going to add a little bit more water too. Here is my thirsty girl, my silver streak pothos, and you can tell the leaves are a little bit curled up under on the sides, and the topsoil is just completely dry. So I'm going to do the same thing, bottom water her, and this was about maybe 30-40 minutes later. I checked on her, and you can see the soil is moist and she's good to go. So bottom watering your plants is really easy. Like I just said, you just fill some kind of shallow dish with water, let your plant sit, let it soak up the water it needs. You're good to go. I don't do it as often, just personal preference, but it's still an effective way that you can water your plants. Be careful with it because sometimes it may not always get to the top to moisten the soil at the top. So you may have to like interchange between bottom watering and over top watering. Okay, now I'm actually going to show you how to water plants that have no drainage hole that is potted directly in a pot. I actually have quite a few plants like that and they're doing fine. I don't recommend this if you're starting out in your plant journey and if you do seem to overwater your plants. But I'm just going to show you what I do. There is literally no specific way, method, or meter in how I do it, but this is how I do it. And honestly, one of the main reasons why I do have plants that are in a non-drainage pot, no holes, is simply because the planter was cute. I didn't feel like buying a drill bit, putting a hole in it. And not only that, I've become extremely more comfortable in watering plants with no drainage. So it is possible to have a plant thrive in a no drainage pot. You just have to be extremely careful. So here is my beautiful snake plant. I actually separated this from Mama about over 2 years ago actually, and she's thriving. She has a lot of new growth, and I found this cute pot at a store called the 99-cent store, and I put her in here and she's been doing extremely fine. And I actually water her probably once a month. Sometimes she goes a little bit over a month. So for this particular plant, especially since it is a Sansevieria, those do like to dry out. They don't like to stay moist at all. And so she does fine with that watering schedule. And so like I said, there is no specific way, method, or reason why I do what I do. This is just what I do and it's successful. You can clearly tell like the top is dry, and then I just add water until I feel like it's almost halfway. I don't know if that makes sense, but this is how I do it. And if you think your plant didn't receive enough water from whenever you did water and it's in a no drainage pot, then you can put a little bit more water in. But I would say just wait and see like if the leaves, if it's a plant where the leaves do droop when it's dry, see if the leaves do perk back up. If they don't, you can give it a little bit more water. Just be real careful with it. But this is what I do.